KQNY Radio News is supported by a generous grant from the Feather River Community Fund. More information about their programs and activities is online at featherrivercommunityfund.org. The news is also brought to you by Heat Transfer Systems. They can be reached at 530-283-3665 for all HVAC needs including conventional, geothermal, ductless systems, and more. We're also supported by Hunt Propane, providing bulk propane deliveries to residences and businesses at 530-283-9062, and Feather Financial, here to help with insurance, tax preparation, and accounting services. They're at 530-283-2341 and online at featherfinancial.com. Sierra Pacific Industries is committed to sustainable forest management and also supports KQNY Radio News. Information about career opportunities with SPI is available at 530-283-2820 and online at spi-ind.com/employment.
In partnership with the Plymouth Sun, this is KQNY Radio News.
Thanks for joining us. Plumas County District Attorney David Hollister publishes a periodic review of the Plumas County District Attorney's Office activities and criminal cases, and the Plumas County Sheriff's Office identifies a murder victim from 1988. Stay tuned for those stories and more on this, the 100th edition of KQNY Radio News. Plumas County DA Dave Hollister has published his periodic report on criminal case activity, and he starts off with a quote from Harper Lee's novel To Kill a Mockingbird, where Miss Maudie explains to Scout, quote, "I simply want to tell you that there are some men in this world who were born to do unpleasant jobs for us. Your father is one of them," unquote. DA Hollister goes on to state, quote, "At a time when some levels of public service are under scrutiny, if not attack, I simply wanted to share the fact that we have men and women working in Plumas County, whether in law enforcement, social services, our schools, or other crucial public service agencies, who come to work often and deal with a great deal of unpleasantness for us with a level of grace and effort of which we should all be proud. For their efforts in serving the public every day with an unmatched passion and dedication, I continue to be grateful." DA Hollister goes on to state, quote, "With the entry of 2025, we've seen a number of changes in law enforcement and our Superior Court. I want to welcome Lieutenant Lacey Carney and Lieutenant Ryan Pedersen. Carney is the Susanville, California Highway Patrol Commander covering North Plumas County. Pedersen is the Quincy CHP Commander. Both have demonstrated solution-based approaches and are great additions to local law enforcement leadership. Our Sheriff's Office has seen Todd Johns appoint Jeremy Beatley to Patrol Commander and Tom Froggett as Administrative Sergeant. Both Beatley and Froggett have hit the ground running while demonstrating a great deal of dedication and innovation, which will certainly benefit our county. Finally, the Honorable William Abramson has taken the bench as one of our 2 Superior Court judges, while Sue Seligan-Dostal has taken over as the Court Executive Officer. Both have been already tremendous to work with and are excellent additions to our legal community in their new capacities," unquote. DA Hollister's report goes on to detail his office's activities involving 12 local criminal cases. For detailed information on all those cases, please see the article at plumassun.org. The Plumas County Sheriff's Office has used genetic genealogy to identify the victim of an unsolved cold case murder as Paul Richard Davis of Kern County, California. Now they're asking for the community's help to discover what may have happened to him. In April 1988, a tree removal crew working in a secluded area of Quincy located what appeared to be a bone sticking out of the ground. The worker dug up the object and found clothing along with the bone. He then contacted the sheriff's office. Investigators excavated the shallow grave to discover human skeletal remains. Root samples sent to the University of Arizona for testing revealed that the grave must have been dug during the growing season of either 1985 or 1986. The remains were transferred to the anthropology department at California State University Chico for examination. Preliminary findings identified a hole in the back of the skull consistent with a gunshot injury. Based on his skeleton, the victim was described as a Caucasian male, approximately 6 feet tall, with a muscular build, about 35 to 45 years of age. Dental records failed to identify the victim, and in the years that followed, investigators explored possible matches with missing persons reports, but without success. So that's how things stood for over 30 years, but in the 2020s, emerging detection technologies opened new avenues for investigation. In 2022, the Chico State Anthropology Department revisited the case, entering the unidentified victim into the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System. They submitted bone samples to the California Department of Justice DNA lab to create a DNA profile in the Combined DNA Index System. Then in January 2023, the FBI's Sacramento field office suggested using genetic genealogy to identify the victim. That methodology works similarly to commercial DNA testing services like Ancestry.com and 23andMe. A sample from the victim's body is used to develop a DNA profile, which is then matched against publicly available genealogical databases to identify DNA relatives of the deceased person. DNA matches may be distant, so more traditional research tools, like birth certificates and obituaries, are used to piece together the family tree until a close relative is found. With financial assistance from the NamUs Forensic Unit and the FBI, the Plumas County Sheriff's Office submitted evidentiary bone samples to a private lab for testing and analysis. The results eventually led detectives to 2 potential family members in the Bakersfield area, who agreed to provide DNA samples for comparison and confirmation. Paul Richard Davis was officially identified. According to family members, Davis had lived a transient lifestyle and struggled with substance abuse. He stayed in touch by phone, calling about every 6 months, until one day in the early 1980s when the calls just stopped. The last known record of Davis's whereabouts were from January 11, 1983, when he was released from police custody in Santa Rosa, where he was being detained for petty theft. Very little is known of Davis's past associates or friends, and his family is not aware of any connection he may have had to Plumas County. The Plumas County Sheriff's Office asks anyone who might have information about Davis to contact the Detective Unit at 530-283-6363. The Quincy Chamber of Commerce, in collaboration with the Indian Valley Innovation Hub, announces the grand opening of the Quincy Hub. Organizers promise this will be a new and vibrant space, serving as the central hub for commerce, innovation, and community connection in Plumas County, and the official space of the Quincy Chamber of Commerce. A grand opening event is planned for 5:30 on Tuesday, March 4th, organized around a Mardi Gras theme. Local business owners, entrepreneurs, community leaders, and residents are encouraged to come out, enjoy the festivities, and connect with others who share a passion for the future of Plumas County. Organizers encourage guests to bring some extra cash because the Made in Plumas store will offer a variety of locally made goods, while the Plumas County Visitor Center offers unique retail items. Quote, "By supporting these local businesses, you're also supporting the heart of Plumas County," say organizers. But even if you miss that event on Tuesday, stop in and check it out. The Quincy Hub is home to the Quincy Chamber of Commerce, empowering local businesses and economic growth, the Indian Valley Innovation Hub providing a space for creative collaboration and entrepreneurship, the Made in Plumas store showcasing talents of local artisans and entrepreneurs, and the Plumas County Visitors Center offering information, retail, and resources for visitors and residents alike. Quincy Hub is located at 493 Main Street in Quincy. More information is available from Brianna Swafford at the Quincy Chamber of Commerce office. They can be reached at 530-394-0541 or by visiting membership at quincychamber.com. And finally, we have a bit of a milestone to report here. As mentioned at the top of the program, this is the 100th edition of KQNY Radio News. Our first edition was released on August 21st, 2023, right about 3 weeks after the organization of the Plumas Sun. We're very grateful for our collaboration with the Plumas Sun, which makes this program possible, and also to the many volunteers who've helped out with the program over the last year and a half. We're continuing to look for volunteers who might be able to assist with producing the program, so if you have an hour or two to spare each week and you'd like to be involved, please get in touch with us through our website, KQNY919.org. Go to the contact page, send us a message, and we'll get right back to you. And just a couple of notes before we go. There's an article at plumassun.org written by Jane Braxton Little and myself that details the toll some of the federal government spending cuts are taking on Plumas County. The information in that article from the Plumas County Office of Veteran Services comes from an interview we did here on KQNY with Bill Cook and Michael Tortora from the County Veterans Office. That's on our program Community Matters, which airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon and Saturdays at 2 p.m. But you can also check it out on our podcast in case you haven't heard this program, along with the other 5 news and community affairs programs that KQNY produces, are now available on a podcast available on all major podcast platforms. Just search for KQNY and you'll find it. And thanks for listening. That's it for this edition of KQNY Radio News. We'll see you next time.
This program is a production of KQNY Community Affairs Programming, and it's powered by the Plumas Sun, a group of Plumas County journalists and organizers committed to providing high-quality, objective coverage of local news. The Plumas Sun and KQNY both depend on community support, so please consider helping us out by going to KQNY919.org and plumassun.org and making a donation. Thank you for helping to keep local news on the web and on the air.